I appreciate you coaches that have jumped on to keep this keep these clinics moving in the right direction. We've had a little bit lower attendance that we like, but I understand how there's curveballs in life. So everybody's got a lot of different things going on, but we'll continue to push forward. So um, first thing I want to cover is I think what I want to do is I have a couple players that are here on the call with us that I wanted to basically give them a chance to offer up some advice as to what they might want to offer. Like Daniel is actually Daniel's here with me now at the house. He's going to be going to Park University next year, and he's was in our academy at M Squared Academy in Lagos there in Acacia, and has transitioned to the U.S. a couple years ago. He was in the academy for a couple years, so now he's here. And Daniel, you want to unmute your phone and just if there's anything you want to offer. There's a few guys that are on here that are from Nigeria, a few coaches. So if you want to offer them maybe some advice on what they should share with their players that might be transitioning in the next year or two. Did you hear
No
me, Daniel?
problem. Yes, I can hear you.
Oh,
Can you hear
okay.
me?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was just asking you to maybe just share with the coaches uh if there's anything that they should probably start to tell their players that you wish you would have got a little more info before you came over to the US.
Okay. Thank you, coach, for letting me visit my brothers back home. But the first thing I would like to say is the communication aspect. Like, I didn't realize how much they talk in the USA as far as players communicating louder and with purpose. Like key words like switch, help side, call coming, help lift, other ball, switch, spin left. Those type of key words that players should, know how to say when they're on the court playing the
Mm.
defense.
So when you were back home, it just you guys didn't talk as much as they talk in the US basketball wise,
No,
right? Yeah.
no, we
Okay.
didn't.
That's good for the coaches to know. Maybe incorporate more talking into your drills and when you play, hold them more accountable, coaches, to talking. What about Daniel? One more thing for you. What about off the court? Was there anything off the court that was a challenge for you that you didn't expect?
Uh, yeah, I would say socializing more because I'm the type of guy that I don't really like going out, like talking to people. But I found out that it wasn't helping me as an athlete, so I had to like go out more, socialize more with my teammates because it really helps. So you know the kind of teammates you have, So
I got you. Your speaker's a little like you're going in and out, but I think I heard you. I'll repeat what you said real quick. So I think you said you didn't really socialize a lot. You were kind of overwhelmed with everything and you just kind of stayed to yourself a little bit, but that hurt you as far as being a good teammate. Is that kind of what you said?
yes, sir.
Okay, gotcha, gotcha. I see Esban has jumped on as well. So thanks, Daniel. But hey, Ez, while I got you on real fast, Esban also was in our academy in Lagos and is now here in Arizona and will be transferred to a university next year as well. But Ez, is there anything else you might want to add? You're muted.
Uh, yeah, I'm there. Yeah. Thank you, Coach, for letting me give my opinion. The physical aspect, like they play really fast,
Hmm.
so it was hard. Like back home, we don't play fast. I
Hmm.
mean, we do play fast, but not as fast as here. When I came here, it was like, whoa, like they actually push the pace. So you gotta actually catch up with them. If you're not in shape, it's gonna be hard for you to keep up.
Right.
And the physicality part, I mean, we do play physical, but here it taught me like you play physical, but not you got to play smart too at the same time. You cannot just play like all physical. That's really gonna hurt you. Because the first games, I played was like I was fouling out games, like cause playing too aggressive. So now
Hmm.
you gotta play aggressive but be smart at the same time. Don't wait to like go hard and like let it go a little bit.
I got you. I got you. Anything else basketball wise you can think of that was different that you felt like these guys need to make sure their guys know?
Basketball wise,
Yeah, anything else?
um, yeah, the coaches. If you really want it, they're like people who's willing to help you get in the gym. If you go to like a prep school like me, they're like, so it's just I just say people should just work hard, like stay in the gym every day, be consistent, and not just the basketball court, the weight room too, because that really helps. If you don't go to the weight room, it's not going to help you. Really, it's going to help you, but not. It's not going to help you like match the physicality when it comes to the game. So you actually need the weight room.
Got you. And I know that the weight room is a bit of a problem with facilities in a lot of the different countries. So that's good advice. One thing
Yeah,
that we're doing at M Squared is Coach G-Day is one of our main coaches, and he also is in charge of our strength and conditioning program. So he sends me the workouts that the guys are doing, and we discuss, what are we doing for core, what are we doing for their upper body, the lower body, and especially when you don't have weights, he has a lot of pull-ups, sit-ups, push-ups, different things that you guys can do there in West Africa. So.
yeah. I got
Um,
one more thing. My bad.
yep, go ahead.
Um, um and like they run too many sets, like set plays. Like in Nigeria, we do, but we probably just run like maybe like one, two plays in the game. But here, there's like out of bounds play, sideline out of bounds play, like in game play, like everything when you count all the plays together is like almost 20 plays. That actually
Hmm.
hurt me a little bit because I actually have to remember the plays when the coach call it. Because if you don't remember, you cannot play. So you have
Right.
to like pay attention and practice and remember all the plays.
Good call.
Yeah.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate you chiming in. So guys, what is the obvious response to that? In Senegal, in Dakar, in Lagos, Abidjan, wherever you are, you gotta teach them sets and train them how to understand, set plays, actions. We're gonna cover some actions today, so I'm glad you mentioned that. Gary, you had your hand up. You want to say something?
Yeah, for Daniel and Esteban, culturally, I understand that sometimes when you got here that you had a difficult time in the other players on your team and just kids in general teasing you. We call it bagging. How would you suggest to the coaches and the players in Africa to kind of prepare themselves for that?
Oh, can I say, can I answer it?
Yep, go ahead.
So, uh, due to my own experience, it kind of like really hurt me because I wasn't really ready for it. Because when I got here,
Hmm.
I couldn't like back when they like talk to me. Because every time I like say something, they tend to like laugh at me because of the way I talk and all that. Well, it got to a point that I was like, man, F it, I don't really care
Right.
if they laugh or not. So I'm just gonna like be free and be proud of how I talk. So. So
So
basically,
you
what I would advise is when they come here, they should be proud of how they talk. Even when they get laughed at, they shouldn't like put their mind to it. They just let them laugh and just continue to do what you do.
right, right. So ignore basically, but don't let them take your confidence. Don't let just because they're American, they're not better. So don't let them, intimidate you. That's good. That's really good advice. I don't know if there's anything else. Esban, did you experience any of that when you got here? I know you came over, you were a little bit younger. I think you were 16 or something. So how
Yeah.
did you handle that?
I mean, people could not understand me at first, but they did not use it like again, like use it to like shame me or nothing.
Hmm.
because like everybody I stayed with in the house and on the court and on my team, everybody's international. I had people from Italy, Spain, um, Africa, like from everywhere. So everybody's English was not like good. So it was not bad for me. I just had to like as time went by, I started gaining like my confidence to talk more and like learn how to speak like the American way.
Right. Understood. That's good. So that's good for you guys to know as well. Like if the school that you're sending your kids to, let's pray that the visa interviews start back up at some point here in the near future and out of Nigeria. I know they're still open in other countries, but it's good for you to know the environment, right? That your student is going to. Like, is he going to an international school? Is he going to a school that has three or four players from Africa or different countries? Or is he going to a school that's predominantly U.S. citizens or U.S. kids? Then you can prepare him for some of the things that are going to come his way based off of what Daniel and Esbon said. So I appreciate you guys offering that up and being transparent. So let me dive into. I'm going to share my screen with you guys. Um, there are some other things that are going on that I want to make sure I get to today. Hold on one second here. All right. Hold on. Let me close that and open this. Gary, can you see my
Yes,
oh, you can. Okay. All right. So Gary, you're looking at the PowerPoint, correct?
correct.
Okay. All right, guys. So um there's been a very, very a big, really big change in the policy. Um, and so I want to talk about that a little bit. So let me go back here. So before we get started into the Zoom today, so the USCIS green card policy has changed. So this is what you guys need to know. This just happened on the 22nd. So today's Saturday or Sunday. It was happened on Friday. So it's not a new law, but it's a new policy memo, meaning that foreigners now must go home. So anybody from Africa, Europe, wherever that's here on a visa must go home to apply for a green card. You cannot apply in the US anymore. You used to be able to apply here. So this is a big adjustment, okay, of the status when you're in the US. It's no longer just an automatic deal where you're in the US, say on a student visa, and you want to move to uh, a get a green card. Let's say you started working after you graduated, you didn't go play pro ball, and you have a job, and you eventually want that job to sponsor you. But in the meantime, if you're trying to apply for a green card, you will be you will have to go home. So there's going to be a lot of longer timelines. The mandatory travel is going to be there, and there's possible visa delays, and there's possible visa rejections. So anyone advising their players, all you coaches need to have them plan ahead, get with an immigration attorney. I don't care how you find one that can advise you through it, because what you don't want to do, and actually, let me see if I can open up. Well, I can just tell you. Um, there is, let's say, for example, you go back let's say you're from the Ivory Coast, right? And you go back, you're on a student visa, and you go back to apply for your green card. Well, there's a good chance they'll deny you and take away your visa. They won't give you the visa stamp. Why? Because the student visa was designed for you to come over for just a period of time and come back. So now your intent has changed and you're saying, no, I want to stay. I want to be a citizen. Well, now that's a whole new ball of wax, as we say. That's a whole new situation. So you could very easily go home, have life here, have a girlfriend, a job, everything, try to go home real quick and get your green card and be stuck back at home, your original home. So I will have Gary put on our website a little more detail about that. There's certain visas that have a better chance than others. There's visas that are really high risk for you to not go back if you're on that visa. Whether you get married or whether you get your corporation that you're working for to sponsor you. There's all kinds of different ways. I don't want to spend too much time on it, but it's a big deal for any of your players that are here that thought they might want to just move into transition to a green card. Okay. Gary, you had a question?
Just a comment. I read something last night, that said that they might try to do that with the I-20s too.
So, oh, wow. That's interesting. I didn't know that. Okay. All right, guys, let me go on with a little more basketball now. Gary, you can put your hand down. Okay. So, the first thing I want to cover today is kind of like what Esbon was talking about, like actions, right? Named actions, sets. Uh, we need to start using that terminology in Africa. We need to start sharing what these different things are. And the reason why is it obviously it helps to have that. I misspelled that shared. It's supposed to be shared vocabulary. And it helps the players to understand the spacing, the timing, and all of these actions, and the ones I'm going to show you today are used in FIBA, the pros, the NCAA, and in ball actually in Africa as well. And it's easy to put them in, and it doesn't take a lot of time to teach these. So let's talk about the first one. The first one is Spain. Okay, it's called Spain action, and it's just a pick and roll plus a back screen, and it involves the three players: the ball handler, the roller, and the back screener. Okay, and then what it does is creates a roll to the rim situation. It creates a pop threat from a shooter. So once he sets that back screen, he pops, and then it's really hard to guard if you don't switch. So it's great for younger and older teams to be able to utilize in their system. So again, back to what Esbon was saying before he came to the U.S., I doubt that he knew what Spain, horns, pistols. He probably didn't know these terms. We need to teach them in Africa before they come over. But let me show you this first one here. This is the Spain action, so you can take a look at it. I won't play the whole thing, but you'll
Hey guys, welcome back.
get a chance to listen to it.
If you've been watching the Phoenix Suns the past few seasons, you have undoubtedly seen them run a European-influenced ball screen action, commonly known as Spain pick and roll, with great success. But what exactly is Spain pick and roll, and how is it different than a typical ball screen? Spain pick and roll is an action where a ball screen is set in the middle of the floor, while a guard, usually a shooter, simultaneously sets a back screen on the ball screen's defender before popping to the perimeter. Typically, the two players not directly involved in the action are located in the corners to keep middle ball screen spacing. The action has proven extremely difficult to guard and an effective go-to set, which is why we are seeing a spike in popularity over the past few seasons. Getting right into it, Spain pick and roll is most easily understood when broken down into three parts: the screener, the shooter, and the ball handler. The screener, usually a big, will look to set a middle ball screen for the ball handler. As this is happening, the shooter will headhunt the screener's defender and look to set a back screen as the screener rolls to the rim. The shooter will then pop to the perimeter after setting the back screen, looking for a catch and shoot opportunity. The ball handler will come off the initial middle ball screen with three potential scoring options. He can attack the rim or pull up off the dribble, hit the screener as he rolls to the rim, or hit the shooter as he pops to the perimeter. But why is Spain pick and roll so hard to guard? Well, to start, a simple ball screen is hard enough to guard, especially with great perimeter spacing. Add in a secondary action with the back screen by a shooter, and it becomes that much more difficult. Help on the screener rolling to the rim, and leave yourself vulnerable to an open catch and shoot. Stay with the shooter popping, and you distort the help on the roll and leave the screener open. Not to mention, you still have to worry about the ball handler turning the corner, and the two shooters spaced in each corner. And no matter which way you choose to defend it, you must communicate it and have all three defenders involved in the action on the same page, which is easier said than done, especially at game speed. In my opinion, triple switching the Spain pick and roll is the best way to defend against it, but since teams rarely have the personnel to pull off an effective triple switch, This often creates either a size or speed mismatch that can be attacked. And the final thing I wanted to discuss when talking about the Spain pick and roll that you may have noticed in some of these clips already is the fact that sometimes the shooter does not set the back screen on the screen.
Oops. I think I cut that off too quick, but you got the gist of it. Is there any hold on. Is there any comments, or does anybody want to ask any questions about that Spain action? Do any of you use it already? Or teach it, I should say? Okay. All right, good. Let's move on. Um, okay, next thing is the horn set. Okay. So now on horns, oops, I gotta go back and open up the okay. So on horns, this is where you have the two bigs that come up and play off the elbows. But let's take a look at it. Actually, let me see if I can go back. Yeah, two bigs at the elbows, two guards in the corners, and then the ball handler at top. And he can flow into a Spain, double drag, high low, whatever out of this. But this is the horns action or the horns set, similar to having a Spain action or Spain set. The guys need to know what those look like. Okay. So let's go ahead and play the visual example of this.
If you're looking for a new series for your offense, meaning a group of plays that all start out of the same formation, I think the Horn series has a lot of versatility and can create a lot of scoring opportunities for your team. So, welcome to the film room. Let's get into it. The standard setup of the Horns formation is having two guys line extended, setting ball screens, typically around the 3-point line. You have two guys in the dead corner, and your ball handler can choose to go off of either screener. After he picks a side, that man's going to roll to the rim. The other big will shake in behind, and the ball handler will need to get his eyes to the back two defenders because the read will be based off of how they guard the roll man. So, in a typical horn setup, the first thing the guard has to do when he comes off the ball screen is he has to read what's called his primary read, and that is the screener's defender. So, when he comes off, he has to evaluate what he's doing. Then he has to get his eyes to what's called the secondary read, which are the back two defenders. And if neither one of them cover up the paint, the roll man will probably be open and you need to find a way to get it to him.
Okay. I think you guys got a taste of that. I don't know if I need to hold on. Let's see if I can play that a little bit more. Because that's some good stuff. Where's my cursor here? Let me see.
Now, if your primary read continues to sink as you come off the ball screen and your defender trails you or goes over the top, you'll have space to pull up for a mid-range jump shot, or you can come off and you can shoot the three. But oftentimes you're going to get what's called a hedge. And this is where the primary read is going to come over and help. And that's a good thing because now you have an advantage offensively. And if you can get your eyes to this defender who's known as a tag man, you'll see that he's coming down. And so you throw it back to the shake and the defense has to scramble to recover. You can see it better from this angle. As the ball handler goes off to the right and makes 2-guard 1, the tag man goes down to help on the roll and it's kicked back out to the shake man for a 3. Now, another variation of horns is what's called horns twist. This is where you're going to go off of a ball screen just like you do in horns. That man will roll to the rim, but instead of getting the roll and the shake, the opposite big will come over and set another ball screen. The ball handler will go back to the other side, and you're going to get this concept called a roll and replace. And some coaches will refer to that as a yo-yo action. Now, there are two things that horns twist will do that I think is beneficial. The first is when you come off of a normal horns, you're going to have what's called a single gap to drive through. But in horns twist, because of the false motion to one side, you now have a bigger gap or a double gap to drive through. The other thing that's beneficial is in horns, both of these tag defenders can stand and watch, but in this horns twist, now you get some confusion with who's supposed to be the tag and where, and that can create open shots. You can really see it in this clip right here. As the ball handler comes back off of the twist, he gets two people to guard one, and these two back tag defenders don't know who's supposed to take the roll, and it leaves this replace wide open for a catch and shoot 3. And
Okay, so I think you guys get the get the gist of that. And as a reminder, all of this is on the website. So every clinic you can go to, and it'll have a full breakdown of. Hey, Gary, you put this PowerPoint on there as well, right? Where's Gary? I don't see him. Oh, there he goes. But you're muted, Gary. This PowerPoint will be on the website, correct? Gary? He's muted. Okay. I think he's trying to figure out the interpretation piece. Um, Hey, Barth, can you can you go ahead and make that announcement? Can you ask any if there's any French-speaking people only on here right now?
Ok, coach. Bonsoir à tout le monde ici, l'interprète. Est-ce qu'il y a certaines personnes qui parlent et comprennent français?
Make sure they unmute if they are.
Euh, N'oubliez pas de d'activer le son hein, si jamais vous voulez parler. Est-ce qu'il y a certaines personnes qui sont francophones dans la vidéo, dans le call? Est-ce qu'il y a des francophones?
Ouais. Bonjour. Bien sûr, il y a des
Bon,
francophones.
d'accord.
Bonjour.
Il y en a combien, s'il vous plaît?
Bon, je crois que c'est moi et coach Vieux.
Coach, it looks
Sarr
like
et
there
Vieux.
are two people speaking French in the call.
Okay, ask them, do they understand the English do they understand English well enough to stay on this side?
Pour les francophones qui sont dans le call, est-ce que vous comprenez un peu les vidéos qui ont été jouées depuis le début du call? Est-ce que vous comprenez un peu l'essentiel et le message qu'on essaie de vous faire comprendre?
Euh, oui, pour moi, de ma part personnelle, je comprends que, par exemple,
Oh,
ici, on est en train de voir le Hall Action. Il explique qu'on met deux grands sur le poste elbow. Après, bon, dans l'ensemble, on comprend quoi. On n'est pas on comprend pas trop l'anglais, mais on se débrouille.
okay. Coach,
Yeah,
they understand the gist of it, but they don't understand 100% of it.
got you. Okay, so let them know that let them know what happened real quickly with the interpretation button. We'll have it fixed on the next Zoom, but we'll also put it on the website.
Coach,
We'll
can
have
you
it.
hear me?
Yeah, Barth, I can hear you. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can now.
Yeah, I was just asking to just let them know to try to do the best they can, and we'll put the Zoom
Okay,
on the website.
okay.
We'll put it on the website in French translation so they can read it.
Ok, ok. Donc, ma dernière intervention, pour tous ceux qui parlent et comprennent français, essayez quand même d'essayer de comprendre le maximum dans les vidéos qui sont dans le call.
Oui.
Mais sur le site internet, les vidéos seront là-bas encore. Ne vous inquiétez pas, il y aura la traduction française. Donc, essayez
You're
simplement de comprendre l'essentiel. Merci beaucoup.
Okay. All right. My apologies, guys. Coach Boo, what's up, brother? I see you. All right.
D'accord,
So,
merci.
okay. So, Chad, make sure you're muted so there's no noise in the background. Okay. Pistol action. This is the third action. There's three or four I wanted to show you. So I'm going to go through it pretty quick here. Um, So the pistol action is an early offensive action. So you're on the side of the floor, and it includes you guys can see the screen, right? You can see the screen. Everybody can see the Zoom. Okay, good, good. All right. So the pistol action again is where the ball handler on the initial break, he can go into a dribble handoff, he can pass it up and get into a ball screen. This is a really good, quick, early hit type situation. So let me go back. Oops, I hit the wrong button there. Hold on one second. Gary, you can still see the screen, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Let me go back to getting my cursor on that screen. Okay, good. All right. So let's take a look at this action. And this is one of my buddies, Ryan. Let him kind of explain how they handle the pistols action, and then we'll move on to show you a couple others that I want to make sure you guys teach your guys these verbal cues in terms of understanding what Spain is, horns is, pistols, and because they're going to hear it a lot when they come to either the US, Europe, wherever, FIBA, it doesn't matter. But so the sooner they get taught this, the better.
All right, real quick, give me the gray. Okay, purple step off. Give me a post player on top right here, point guard there with the ball, another guy over here, and a guy in each corner. Guy in each corner. Okay, once again, just stuff that we use to get into our stuff. Pistol, we call this our pistol series. Okay, so this is a 5 out. This is if our big is trailing. We'll call this, but they have the option to go to this, because if you have a 4 or a 5 that can shoot threes, you don't always want them running to the rim. If he can make this shot, this is way better for the spacing. This is way better for us. Okay, so we'll run him out and get him out of here. All right, now, pistol 1. This is all very simple stuff. Stay with me, players. You guys can do whatever you want. You can just stand, whatever, but sometimes they'll cut, they'll exchange, weak side. Everything's on the strong side right now. Pistol 1, dribble handoff to ball screen. Okay, stop, don't go anywhere. Dribble handoff to ball screen. You're going to be screening for that guy, and we want all this action to happen right about here at the free throw line. So all of these next 3 couple plays are all right here at the free throw line, this pistol stuff. Okay, so for us, it's this, and then this. Pistol 1. This is what we're calling right now if it's loud. Okay? So he's going to come. Our point guard's going to kind of hesitate. It kind of depends on pace and what's going on, but he's going to hang out for a second, make sure we're set. We want him in the corner. And I want you guys to go, you don't have to go a million miles an hour, but please don't walk through it. You're going to go dribble handoff, ball screen, roll. And you'll see it's down action. You're getting down action out of this. Okay? Remember, these are all kind of the same thing. Go. Dribble handoff. Follow it. Ball screen. Go.
Whoops. I don't know why that happened. Hold on.
Hit escape.
I didn't mean to.
Roll. Okay? These guys are giving us a little bit of something over here. If they're 2 really good shooters, they don't have to do much. They don't have to do much, and they know that. Because if their guys cheat, we're going to find them. We're going to shoot it. Okay? So then we can run pistol 1 to the other side. That's how we say it. Pretty simple. Pistol 1 to the other side. Throw it to him. Throw it to him. Dribble handoff. Ball screen. Roll. Down action. Good. So you got your guy back there. You got the roll. You got whatever you want. Pistol 1. Okay?
Okay, so you get the gist of that as well. It's basically
All right,
get
real
you
quick.
started, basically get your offense started with quick action. If you want to play faster, like Esbon talked about, there's a lot of play that is very, very fast on the US side. So I don't know why that red line's there, but anyway, zoom. Okay, so this next action, and we'll do just two more quickly. The zoom action is a down screen directly followed by a dribble handoff, and that's the same core idea as the Chicago action, but used more broadly. So I'm going to just show you those 2 real fast so you can get a feel for those.
A massive feature of Coach Mark Pope's offense that he brought from BYU is the zoom action. So zoom action is a down screen into a dribble handoff with a number of options off this zoom action. So right here, we're going to see the down screen with the dribble handoff. Now you have a lot of options off of any zoom action right here. So we have the roller right here. We have the lift up after the down screen. So after they set the down screen, they're going to pop out the space right here. And the ball handler goes through his different progressions right there, reading what the defense does. And on this example right here, you can watch Kobe Brea. He picks up his dribble. His eyes are looking at the roller. Now he's going to look at the lift up right there, but the roller's open. So he uses his eyes right there to get the roller open. Zoom action again. You can see Jackson Robinson right here uses an inside hand dribble to create more separation. So inside hand dribble, he's going to get to the mid-range right to his pull-up, which is one of the options you have when a team's playing drop coverage in zoom action. Now it's going to be a chase action off that zoom action. So we have the down screen. They're going to throw it ahead right there. So a little chase action. Then they play that two-man game right there, toss it back. Williams right here is going to roll. Robinson right here is going to pop to space, and he's open off that down screen pop. Now we have Williams right here handling the ball, going into that zoom action, and a sit behind is another option you have off of this. When the defender goes under like they do right here, that sit behind for a shooter is a great option. Now what they'll...
So I'm not going to go too much more into this because
A massive...
what you're going to find out, guys, is that out of each one of these things that I'm showing you, there's several variations. So these are more sets, right? Or actions. And every set or action has counters or a variety of ways to attack the defense, depending on how the defense is guarding you. So again, the zoom action and the Chicago action, they're going to hear those two words and go, well, what's the difference? What's the difference? Well, they're very much similar. It's a pin down screen immediately followed up by a dribble handoff. The difference is the formation. Okay. So the Chicago is much more spread and the floor is a lot more wide open than the zoom is more sided. And you'll see here.
Chicago action is a play that most NBA teams run, and both the Heat and the Sixers ran it in Game 6. The basic idea of the play is to have a player use an off-ball screen and then immediately flow into a handoff. It's a difficult play to defend because the first screen will be tough for the defender to get through, but even after that, you have another screen to navigate for the handoff. After the handoff, the big man will roll to the basket, and the first screener will pop out to the perimeter simultaneously. Now, you can see that on this play, Shake Milton knows what the Heat are about to run, so he anticipates the play, but in doing so, he's overplaying the off-ball screen. So what Max Strus does is he threatens the backdoor cut, which properly sets up Milton to get hit by the screen. And
Okay, let me stop there. And the reason why is because what you're going to find out, guys, is that, say for example, and well, let me tell you this first. Again, the zoom action is a wing pin down into a handoff, and Chicago is, and the zoom action is a 5 out, so it's more spread, but it's the same deal. It's a pin down, screening that guard, so that it makes him hard to even. He's chasing already right from the beginning. But I wanted to stop there because I wanted to make sure you guys know that these sets or these actions, I should say, are very, very common um, in all levels of basketball. You're going to see those that I've already shown you, and these 10 or 9 that I have here. You definitely need to make sure that your players know and understand how to execute these because the more familiar they are with it, the better they'll be at reading the defense and doing the counter. So if they're, for example, if they're switching, well, then the person setting the screen has to show or slip in order to be available. But if you don't have the initial foundation down in your mind, then your counters aren't going to be crisp and sharp. So here's 9 other I think actions or screens that your players need to definitely know before they get here. What is an Iverson cut, floppy action, hammer action? I'm not going to go through all of these, obviously, but when you go on the website and you look at these, or if you want to take a screenshot of these, do your research on them. Make sure your players know them. Very, very, very valuable when they transition and advance in their basketball careers. All right. So, a couple things I want you to ask yourself. The first one is if you could only track one stat, only one, for a player to determine his growth, and you can't use points, what would it be? Would it be assists, turnovers, blockouts, deflections, paint touches, shot quality? You just need to ask yourself that as a coach and if there's one or two things, then that kind of gives you a guideline of how you want your team to play. So if you want your team to play really smart basketball, then shot quality and probably assist would be great stats to track. If you're in a conference or a league or you play your friendly games and you want the physicality, box outs and rebounding are always great stats. Those are what we consider toughness stats. Those are always great things to track. The next question I would say for you guys is what are the five non-negotiables, or four or five, for a 15-year-old? I put a 15-year-old, but it could be 13, 16, boy, girl, in your program that you want them to be able to do. It's a non-negotiable. You want to be the best rebounding team, the best ball handling team, the best team at pressuring or full court pressing. Um, all those different things. So you kind of have to do that to help to develop your own philosophy on how you want to play. But if you don't have non-negotiables, there's an old saying that you don't want to, as a coach, you don't want to be a jack of all trades and a master of none. If you look at every successful coach in the Division One, they are known for something. Coach Pitino's known for pressuring and high defensive intensity. Tom Izzo at Michigan State is known for physicality, toughness, and rebounding. So you got to identify who you are and how you want to coach, and make sure you hold your guys accountable to that. All right. So the next one, I want you to start to know this for yourself. I apologize for this red line. I want you guys to know this for yourself. These are scenarios you should know that how you want to play. So when you get in a game, you're not surprised. So you need to think about it and talk them through. So the first one, so you're down 18 seconds. Who's your best scorer? You look and he hasn't hit a shot from the three, but he's attacking well. Okay, so what's your best action, your best set, your best, and why? Why would you want to use that in that scenario? So quiz yourself and think about this and Google it and chat GPT it and figure out the best way to do it. Another scenario is your team is very athletic, but they're not good at decision making. So what is one rule that you need to implement for a few weeks to really create better habits and create better choices? So just kind of step back from your coaching role and look at the whole big picture as you're doing this stuff. Okay. All right. Those are kind of just a couple extra tidbits for you guys. Um, and then here's another one. These are for the players. Now, I think you need to put these into practice. I think it's really, really important that you guys practice scenarios. This goes to what Esbon and Daniel were talking about earlier. So you're down three. What's your philosophy, right? So you're down three with 25 seconds. You let them play for the 25 seconds. And then after they've concluded the 25 seconds, you're going to make observations, right? Of what they could have done differently, what they did do, and it was smart. Um, and with you as their coach, what would you have wanted them to do? So this is where you teach them the game so that they're comfortable in those pressure situations. They're comfortable executing because they know what you want. You can't just let them go out and make the mistake and then chew them out after the game. Oh, you should have done it. Well, you should have coached them. You should have told them what to do. Then if they tried to do it and they just missed the shot or made a mistake, at least you did your job. You tried to put them in a position to be successful. Um, Tie game. I don't know what that. Oh, it's supposed to be TIE. So tie game. Obviously, I spoke that out. So next scenarios is a tie game with the team on the line, and they're in a one-on-one situation. So they got to make one to make the next one. So they shoot. All right. Then both teams are in the bonus. So if there's a foul, then they get fouled. All right. So again, you let them play it out. So with a minute to play, you're going to get in these end of game scenarios all the time. You got to have your guys comfortable so they're not nervous, they're not letting their emotion, they're executing what you've taught them. Again, let them play the game out, then make your teachable. Don't stop them in scenarios, don't stop your team. Let them play out the whole clock to zero. So once you do that, then you teach. Okay, what could you have done differently? Just like the scenario above, what they did well, and then what you as their coach would have wanted them to do. All right, a couple other bullet points I wanted to put out there for you guys. And well, let me stop at this point. Are there any questions from you guys? Any observations?
You guys should raise your hand. Use the raise your hand option.
Or you could just unmute and talk as well. I can't get off the screen anyway, so. Okay, cool. We'll keep going then. All right, next thing is teach decision making, guys, not just skills. So put your players in must read situations. Oh, go ahead, Coach Vu.
Hey, coach, how you doing?
Good, brother. How you been?
I'm good. I'm pretty good on this Sunday.
Good, good, good. Glad to hear it, man. Well, tell me what
So,
tell me what you got.
okay. So my question is about those action you share.
Hmm.
I just want to know, can we call all these action basics action in basketball terminology, or there are non-basic action?
Yeah, I think the terminology that I shared with you, like for pistols, if that's the action you're going to run, then you need to call it pistols because you want to train them to be ready for the next coach that's going to say the same thing. These are universal. When two bigs come up and set the screens just above the elbows, everybody calls that horns. Everybody. When you have the dribble handoff, everybody calls that the zoom action. So it's not going to be, it's just like another language. It's a basketball language. So hopefully that helps.
It's kind of like the term.
I,
It's kind of like the term you were using, strong side. Now, I'm not sure that all these coaches might even understand what strong side, weak side is. So these are some standard things that we can try to help everybody understand.
Yeah, these particular coaches I'm looking at, they all know the difference between strong side and weak side. But just to reiterate what Gary's saying, like strong side is wherever the ball is, whatever side of the court that the ball is on is considered the strong side. And at that time, when the ball's on a particular side, the other side of the court is considered a weak side. Okay. All right. Um, Let me see. So
okay.
that good, Coach Vu, you got me.
I got you. I have another question about this action.
Okay, go ahead.
Uh, how many uh, basics action are there in basketball terminology? How many basics action are there?
That's a good question. I don't know that um, there might be 20, maybe maybe
Mm,
maybe a little bit more even. Um, but
okay.
but here's the twist. Out of horns, you might have 20 different sets out of just the horns, or 20 different plays out of a different set. So let's say you're running pistols. Out of pistols, you can have pistols twist, pistol pop. You could have different, but those are really based on how the defense plays you, right? But as you teach them, it's pistols action, and then you say we're going to twist it. All right, so we're going to run horns into floppy, right? So understanding how those two connect, you can't do that if you don't know what horns is and you don't know what floppy is. Okay, we're going to run an Iverson into horns. Well, you can't do that if you don't know what they are. So it goes back to letting them be comfortable with those base calls, those base foundations. So maybe even less than 20, Coach Vu. There's not like there's hundreds of them that are used
Okay.
universally. Because the more and more you get up there, the more coaches start calling them what they want to call them, right? So they change the names. But I think the most important thing is that you understand those top 10, 15 standard kind of sets, and then like five out motion. What is that, right? You need to know that, but then the wrinkles off of it are where we had, and this is crazy, we had over 100 variations uh, at UMKC the last 4 years. We've had over 100 different types of sets or plays that,
That's crazy.
yeah, but now a lot of them started the same way, right? Five out, floppy, horns, zoom, but then they had wrinkles off of them, right? So that's why one play might have been, I mean, 10 plays might have come out of one look, right? So that's why there were so many. And that's what Esbon was saying. There's a lot to remember. But the purpose of today's Zoom was to show you if you get them these basic uh, universal terms down, then they'll be a lot easier for them to remember plays. All right. Anything else, Coach?
Got it. I just want to contribute about what you say.
Uh-huh.
In Senegal, the biggest mistake I notice is a lot of coaches before teaching the pistol action, they teach the variation of the pistol action before teaching their pistol action.
Right. Yeah, you have to start with this is, it's almost like this is the base. Now, let's expand the
Badly.
base. Yeah, we expand the base. So you want to teach uh, for next steps, incremental varieties off of the base. So that's a good point. We need to make sure that when we come over at the clinic, in-person clinic, we talk about that more in detail. All
Okay,
right.
got it, coach. Good.
You're the best, Coach Vu. Appreciate your input. All right, just a couple other things. Measure improvement, guys, not just in performance. So reward growth habits, like the kids coming consistently to practice, their effort. They're doing the right things, using ice and learning and researching basketball as a profession, if that's what they want to do. Those are improvement things. So you can measure that as well. Use small-sided games daily, like more touches and more decision making per minute develops the IQ to be faster. So that's one of the things that, again, that the kids here said they struggled with. So I wanted to make sure that was put in there in terms of helping to develop their basketball IQ. Like coaches will sit in the stands and say, boy, he really knows how to play. Well, that's because he's making the best decisions based on what the defense does offensively. And then defensively, he's talking, he's in his stance, he's communicating what might be coming next. He's blocking out on the shot. Those are things that make a coach go, boy, he really knows how to play. Um, and then build pressure reps into practice. So time and score. This is important. Make practice competitive, basically. That's what that one means. Don't just, get on your high horse of or on your pedestal as a coach and demand they do this and this and this. Make sure it's real, as close to game time scenario so that the game is easier. The more you make pressure situations in the game, like I'm sorry, more pressure situations of practice prepare you for the game. And then last note on this was protect the late bloomers. So you're going to have a lot of guys sometimes that are younger, that aren't as good as some of the guys that have been older or they haven't been playing basketball longer. Protect those guys in the process of practice and make sure that you make those comments like, man, that was a really good day from you. Yesterday you struggled in here, but I saw you guys getting uh, I saw you getting better today at that. And hey, just stay with it, encourage them because sometimes they can lose interest if they're not as good as their peers and their fellow players. But they got to stay the course, man, and just keep grinding it out. So make sure you put as much attention and development and encouragement into the lesser players that maybe not have are late bloomers or haven't had as much as experience. So hopefully that makes sense. All right. All right. Last little coaching tip on that note is what I would do, fellas, is I would test. Actually give your players a test. So you can text it to them on their phone, or you can give them a piece of paper that you printed it out on, and they actually give them a pencil. Teach them to understand the game. So, for example, like today, if I gave you guys a test, I'd give you 5 questions. What does the beginning of horns look like? What is the difference between Zoom and Chicago? Like I would ask you those guys to it's a proven method for improving intelligence, improving, memory. So just remember to think about doing that every once in a while. Mokhtar, you had a question?
Hey coach, how you doing?
Good, brother.
I haven't been here for a while, man. Just became a father a few months ago, so that's been keeping me away from the Zoom meetings. But I'm glad to be back.
God bless you.
Anyway, you made an interesting point on how to track or encourage your young players, like the late bloomers. But
Hmm.
I'm asking because I'm curious to know nowadays the new kind of players they are. Like maybe you are in a good situation to talk about this because you've been coaching for a while. I'm pretty sure
Hmm.
when you had your players 20 years ago, how you
Right.
spoke to them and now how you're speaking to them is two different language. So I'm wondering how that looks because what is the middle line? Like, what is the line? Like, there are some things you cannot negotiate, but now everybody want to be kind of street talking to, and like I'm wondering how do you navigate or trying to find the middle ground on getting your kids to do what they need to do, knowing you cannot really speak to them like how you spoke to them 25 years ago when you started coaching. How
Yeah.
does that look for you on a day to day, or so?
Yeah, that's a great question. Here, let me stop the share here. Hold on one second. I think I was done on there anyway. Stop share. Where did I get? Okay. So, um, over time, th- there's an old song called Otis Redding. I forget. I don't know. I'm not sure who wrote it, but the song was like "Change is gonna come," you know. And we're going through a lot of change right now in the U.S. with politics, with basketball, with money, with mentality. The internet has changed the game from the psychology of young men and women. Things that we didn't grow up with and values that we had are different now. So you got two choices. You can complain about it or you can embrace it, right? If you complain about it, then there's no value there, right? Then get out of the business or do something different. If all you're going to do is complain about what you love to do, that makes no sense. Or embrace it. I mentor 12 Division One coaches here in the US, and we do Zooms one-on-one with them um, uh, once a week or once every other week. And so I'm always encouraging them, I'm talking about the coaches now, on this new NIL and the transfer portal. Um, it was basically changed everything on how we used to operate. Recruiting now is 2 weeks. We used to recruit kids from seventh grade all the way up to being seniors, hours and hours and flights and money traveling around seeing these kids. And then you're down to two or three schools and then they go another direction. Well, you spent thousands and thousands of dollars just recruiting this kid. So it's it was much more impactful when you lost a kid. Now you see a kid in the transfer portal, you go after him, you either have enough money or you don't, and you move on. So every change has created a new dynamic in the psychology of the coach. So, Mokhtar, that's a great question because what I did as the players changed and as the landscape changed, I tried to make the adjustments of how I was going to recruit and the message I was going to send. So now, for example, let's talk about the NIL for a second. I used to money wasn't an issue because all we ever offered was a scholarship, right? So I would say to these young men, I'd say, okay, um, it is very, very different, and I have to embrace this. So I would start to say, hey, listen, come here for 1 year, and we get you a good season, and then you go make some really good money. I would never say that to a kid before. So I had to adjust what I was saying. I realize now, this is important. I don't want to do that. So that's why I recently retired. This was my last season coaching. I might do general manager, I might do something else, but I'm not going to coach anymore because this isn't what I'm about. I'm about the development and I'm gonna pour most of my time now into the culture of M Squared Academy and helping those young men to become successful men in life and then pay it forward. So that's kind of where I'm putting my energy into now. But actually communicating with children, with young men, with young women is one-on-one. I've learned more than ever, man, just pulling a kid aside, Maktar, and having real even if it's just 2, 3 minutes, man. You can't do it in front of other players like you used to. The encouragement, the criticism, it's the relationship, especially when they're younger. Now, when they get older, they got to be able to handle however the coach coaches, right? But for the age that, how old are the guys that you coach?
I'm in a high school right now, so it's like 15, 16, oldest 17-ish. So,
Gotcha.
we just started having a basketball program this year. So
Okay.
for a school, we still at the very first steps of a basketball program. They don't even have an idea of what a basketball program looks in real life.
Right.
So
Gotcha.
now, like as you say, I'm trying to interact and trying to get you to understand some basic what being on a team look like,
Yeah.
what being in a part of a program look like. So in my case, that's what I'm trying to
Right.
implement to those kids right now.
Okay. So again, going back to what I was saying earlier, the adjustment has to start with you.
Right.
You can't expect the kids to um, that you can't expect them to just do what you say and do what you ask all the time. That's
Mm,
not
mm,
that's old school.
mm,
Now you have to have the relationship to
right.
be able to get them to understand what the message is in this new landscape. And
Mm,
you kind of almost, Mokhtar, you almost have to put yourself in their shoes with
exactly.
what they're dealing with, the internet, the
Mm,
social
mm,
media.
mm,
You can teach
mm,
them some of these things
mm,
about the positive effects of a brand and the
mm,
negative effects of
right.
thinking that your likes or your friends are your real friends. They're not your real
Mm,
friends,
mm,
you know.
mm.
So teach them at a level of your experience and your knowledge, but bring it back down to them where they can relate to it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Based on this conversation, I'm kind of having a follow-up question because the reality of all these things we speak of, social media, et cetera, is two different realities from an African standpoint and American standpoint. I don't know
Right,
if you understand, like a kid coming from Senegal having social media is not like the guy who has millions of followers you're trying to recruit. So
right.
how do you even train a kid coming from Senegal going to the basketball environment in America with the new NIL? Like, how do you get them ready to? Because it's gonna be it doesn't stop at the court no more.
No, no.
You see, and I don't even think they understand what NIL is no more. I don't think
No. Yeah.
I don't think they get like what these elements are. So in
Right.
your mind, like with the experience you have, like how do you kind of get them ready or at least equip them to a front to
Honest,
face,
yeah,
so
honestly, man, if you think about it, Mokhtar, the things that they should be learning at 15, 16, 17, um, those things are still the same as what 20 years ago they should be learning. So
right, 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 right,
when you add these other layers now, well then, like they say, it takes a village, right? So
right,
you have to have people around them
right.
that can gradually educate them because you don't want a 17, 18, 19-year-old making financial decisions. They're not ready for that yet. They haven't been on
Exactly.
the planet long enough to understand
Mm,
your compound interest and investing in
mm,
markets.
mm,
So
mm.
yeah, okay, get money, but then what do you do after you get the money? So
Right, right,
you
right,
gotta have a network around you, and that's why we do this. This is
right.
one of the reasons that I'm more passionate now about these Zoom calls is because I can give guidance and use my
Mm,
experience to teach the teachers. It's like the old
okay.
saying, if you want to feed a man a
Mm,
meal, you just give them a fish. If
yeah.
you want to feed them for life, you teach them how to fish, right?
Okay.
So that's the purpose of these Zooms so that
This
you
is
can
right.
put and you guys can lean into Gary and myself anytime. And my coaches are getting more and more advanced at understanding this stuff as well, the coaches in
Mm,
Nigeria. So I think this network has to continue to grow because are the we are the uh, the stakeholders in these young men's and lives. So for you, Mokhtar, it's like, wow, they're about to head into some craziness, right? So I got to
Yeah,
do my job to
yeah,
prepare them
yeah.
and
You have to
ins
be
and,
ready
ins and
for
insulate
that.
them and
Mm,
insulate them, right?
mm.
Because if their mentors are chasing the dollar, they already behind the game,
Right, right,
right?
right,
There
right.
was a young man who played for Flying Stars that's here now in the U.S. and he had a
Mm,
lot of people, trying to court him and recruit him, but the Flying Stars family is pretty tight. And as Ibu and his
yeah,
his
yeah.
his
Those guys
brother,
over there. Yeah.
yeah, and Mamadou, they were around through the process to help guide him through making a good decision for him. And he wasn't just
Mm,
trying to go to whoever had the most money, right?
mm,
He's
mm,
trying to find the best fit because they know that player better than anybody. And they included the family. They included the family back in Dakar
mm.
and they all stayed on the same page and they had a nice circle of influence and support that all wanted the best for the young man.
Right.
And that doesn't always happen, so it's tough.
Exactly. Facts.
But that's kind of your goal is to create the
Mm,
safety net for them as
right,
things change as they get older and get into
mm,
those environments. So
right.
all right, guys, listen, we're almost done on time. I've got another Zoom here with some local guys here in about 6 minutes, so I want to get ready for that. But is there any questions or anything that you guys have for me on the way out in terms of um, just about anything that we discussed today? Always feel free to tap into the website and look at these clinics. Um, Gary, you got anything on the way out referencing the technology and stuff, or any closing notes?
Oh, no, not today. I think it was a good meeting.
Yeah. And then the only request I would make of you guys, especially like you, Coach Vu and Mokhtar, you guys got to get more coaches on these Zooms, man. You got to find a way to let them know how valuable it is. If they really care about being a good coach, they need to lean into some older mentors. We're all in the same basketball family. We all have
Mm.
love for the motherland, and I feel like I put a lot of work into this, and I just wish I could share it with more people. So
Sorry to
I
cut you
really
off. Like,
appreciate
let's
you
say
guys.
if I had somebody I would want to add, do I just get him in the group, or how would that look? For example,
Gary,
if I wanted to have somebody to add to these Zoom calls.
I appreciate that. Gary, because they can't add, right? Only we can add.
Right. So, like, Coach Vu can add to, I think, the Ivory Coast or the Senegal one.
He's in
So,
Senegal.
yeah, so
Mm,
he is an administrator of the Senegal one. So if
okay.
Mokhtar wants to be the administrator to a different one or part of that administrative
I'm
staff,
in Senegal too, but I know people who are young in the coaching realm, and I think like this would be, and some of them are actually part of the guys who were at the clinic one we did at the hotel.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm sure like if I told them if they have time on Sundays, maybe they can kind of join in.
right.
Yeah. So if
Hey, Mark,
that's something I can link up with Coach Gio maybe, and we can figure out I can send him the numbers, or we can find some way to
we
do
can
it.
make you. We can make
I'm
you.
just gonna, I'm gonna make him. I'm just gonna make it an administrator so that you can add
All right.
people.
Yeah, you can
Okay.
add them yourself because we'll
Okay.
get to that. What we didn't
Okay.
want everybody doing it because we started
Yeah.
getting all
Mm,
kinds of things that didn't have to do with basketball and
right.
didn't have to. So this
Okay.
would be good.
All
Um,
right.
Coach Vu, I saw you type something in. Let me see real quick what my boy said. He said, "Can you list the most common actions offensive basketball playbook?" Yeah, I'll put that on the website. Uh, and then we could discuss it next Zoom as well. So thanks, Coach Vu. Appreciate you, man. Okay,
Yeah.
guys. Uh, nothing but love, nothing but love.
Hey, Marv, I
Everybody.
want to thank everybody.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. Hey, guys, real quick. That voice came from a good friend of mine. Where are you at? Area Codes Basketball. Hey,
Chad.
yeah, but Chad, where's your? Can you go to video?
Yeah, hold on. I don't know how
Let
it,
me.
let's see here. Hold hold on.
While
Is it
he's
working now?
Yeah,
Is it
there you
working
go.
now?
Yeah, it is. Back
How
up a
you
little
doing,
bit,
everybody?
Chad. Back up a little bit, Chad.
Yeah, I got
So
this.
let me introduce you real quick, Chad, on the way out. So Chad is a national icon here in the U.S. as far as scouting services. He runs a, a bunch of different type of exposure camps and events to give visual, evaluations, even during the live period and the non-live periods is when coaches can go. So he does an evaluation of players with him and his company. And he jumped on today to kind of see what we're doing, but he's also going to start being a regular member. He's already told me that he wants to come with us to our next trip, so you guys will meet him in person when we go later in the year. But Chad, if you want to just chime in real quick as we sign off about your observations.
Yeah, no, I want to first say thanks. Is great, informative information, connecting me with everybody here, and look forward to being on more calls. As Marv kind of said, I've scouted. Started off working slightly in the NBA, but more in my early years. Spent 14 with the Harlem Globetrotters, a sports and entertainment company, which we were playing competitive basketball. I don't know if a lot of you are familiar with them. And through working with them, I developed relationships with college coaches, high school coaches, club coaches, but ended up meeting Marv through my path. And now over 20 years, been scouting high school and college, junior college basketball, and now the new wave of NIL is starting to take place. So now I'm kind of swinging into that. Basically, players branding themselves and how important that is. I jotted a couple notes down. One is, once players begin to be visible, that's important. We can get into that more, and Marv can always chime on. But building visibility, having a clean social media, that's something we can just spend a lot of time talking about if they have that. But maximize their opportunity not only on but off the court. And it's a whole nother subject. But players telling their story too, which can help.
You know
And
what?
is we know basketball.
Hey, Chad, I appreciate that. What I think I'll do is carve out some time for you on the next Zoom to cover some of those things. Those are some important points.
Okay, yeah.
We've
Yeah, it's a
covered some of
lot.
them. Yeah, we've covered some of them in the past,
Yeah.
but I'd like to get your perspective on them. So,
Okay.
all right. Thanks for joining us, Chad. Appreciate it.
Thank
All right,
you all.
guys. We'll see everybody later. This is Peace in the U.S.